Coaching Queens 2020. I'm Queen Bee Baumgarth.
And I'm Queen Bee Buhrow. Good morning, everyone. And today with us, we have Sheila. Sheila is an image goddess. I was going to say guru, but that just didn't seem to fit. But she really is. She really helps a lot of us in C-suite kind of rock the virtual stage, get our stuff together because really none of us knew what was going on when the pandemic hit. We're like, help. And I've since meeting you, I have started adding more color to everything, and it's fun. It lightens my mood, and I just absolutely love it. So one of the things we want to know is, what does inner peace look like for you?
Oh, wow. That's a fantastic question. First of all, thank you for having me as a guest. I'm completely honored. I absolutely adore both of you. You are just rock stars in your field, and you're going to do great things. So inner peace for me, I thought about this question because I knew that you were going to talk about this, and really it was being true to myself, like really understanding and loving who I was as a person and not comparing myself to other people. I mean, we all have a tendency to do that. Competition is good. Comparison's a whole nother avenue. And I think, like we're in our 20s and our 30s and we're still trying to figure out who we are. At least I was. Like, I didn't know in my 20s. I mean, you think you rule the world and know everything in your 20s, right? Some people do. I didn't. I really didn't know who I was. In my 30s, I got better. In my 40s, I was feeling more content. But I tell you what, I'm 54. I am in my 50s, and I have never felt more at ease and more at peace with who I am and really being okay with that. So for me, it was that self-love, that self-respect, understanding what are my values. When I work with people, with my clients doing image consulting or personal branding, for me, it's that inner work first with that person, really figuring out what makes them tick, who they are, what values do they hold, what strengths do they have, just what is their heart, really understanding what their heart is. And then I'm able to bring that out through a visual aspect, like their visual ID. So I think there's a sense of what I do in the image consulting and personal branding space that really is finding what is their inner peace. What values do they hold dear? What are things that they'll never compromise? And understanding that. And then it takes time to figure that out. Jeffrey Hazlett talks about your conditions of satisfaction. What are those things that you just will never compromise on? And are you living those daily, right? What you have as your values, are they in alignment with what your activity is or how you're presenting yourself? And there's got to be alignment in that. And if there's not, then there's some disruption, not in a good way. And then that peace gets all out of whack, right? There's not inner peace if you're not living being true to who you are, not living that way, if it's not in alignment with your activities. So, gosh, that was kind of a long answer.
Oh, that's great. And when you talk about being in your 50s, I mean, I'm going to be 57 in less than a month. And the heart attack played a lot into it as well. And I have never been so comfortable with myself. I find the old self creep in a little bit and do that comparison. But I have I've gotten my life back. I mean, that was a scary moment. And I have just been so comfortable. And as Dan Silverberg says, who cares what other people
Yeah.
True story. I'm 45 here. I mentor teens, so it's a confusing time in my life at the moment because I don't know if I'm an adult or a teen. I talk like them, I act like them. They bring out that inner child in me, so it kind of lights me up energetically. But you're right, like 20s, I thought I was the bomb. I was a hot mess, guys. Like, I can't even describe. Then 30s, and I was like, something's not right. I was out of alignment. You can feel that, and it was coming through. I went into like that whole black stage where nothing was of color, but that's how I felt about me. And then I had, I've had 17 surgeries. My back's been operated on 3 times, lost my thyroid, parathyroids are shot. Like, I wonder too, our level of inner peace, does that affect, our inner health? Does our body start giving us that? And then we all go through things like that. And it brings that to, you know what? It's more important to be who I am, just who I am naturally, and learn to love yourself and then have some fun. And Joan and I are doing that. We don't really know what we're doing with the technology, but it's so much fun. We get to share the love with people, and we got to meet amazing people during the pandemic. And like, your screen is so bright and cheerful. It's always like red, and then it's just incredible. I love this.
Thank you. And I mean, you talked about that, how you went through that black stage, right? Because you didn't feel, you didn't maybe love yourself or have much respect for yourself. And I tell you what, everybody will say, well, I've never been there. Everybody has, right? We've all been there. And for me, color is a stimulant, right? We live in a colorful world. Most of us do. And so if those of us that can see, I mean, I understand there's people that are blind and don't see color, but it really stimulates us. And there's all that color psychology on what different colors mean and what colors evoke. And not only from like a first impression standpoint for what others see, but when we see that color, how do we feel? And if I'm not surrounded by color, I just feel depleted. I don't feel like I have that energy that I need. And so there's colors that make me happy and make me vibrant and more alive. And we all have those days where maybe we feel a little down in the dumps, and man, I will just throw on some color to raise my energy. But certainly sometimes I'll throw on black and white because I just kind of feel strong and powerful in that. And you can pay attention to how clothes make you feel and how colors make you feel.
Yes.
Awesome.
I read that book a long time ago. What is your color? Is a color scheme, or what's your season, or what?
Oh,
interesting. I can't think of that.
We'll have to look that up.
Curious about that, but I love watching you on Facebook.
Yep.
The clothes that you wear, and your dad has the kindest smile.
My dad is phenomenal. I mean, we all think our parents were awesome, but I have just really enjoyed getting to know my dad again, right? He, since my mom passed away, we've moved him closer, so he only lives 1 mile from us. So it's been really fun having this, I don't know, it's kind of a newer relationship, I feel like, because he's, it's a different stage in his life, different stage in my life as well. So, but he is, he's been such a great impact and positive, such a positive force in my life. He's always out, always happy, always smiling, always outgoing. He's full of life. That's where I get that from, that extrovert part of me that just goes more to happy and positive than I do go to, negative or crabby or any of that. So, which wears me down. I don't know if you've ever taken that Clifton Strength Finders. My number one thing is positivity. So it makes sense that anytime I'm around anything negative, or if I have to have a negative discussion or any of that drains me. Right. It drains anybody, but it really drains me if that's my number one thing is positivity. So then I lose my peace. I lose that peace if I'm not in alignment with who I am. So not to say that we can't have those negative experiences or negative conversations. And hey, I am not positive 100% of the time either. I really try. Probably could ask my husband.
Yeah, my husband would be like, yeah, no, hon, you want to think you are, but not really.
But really, I really strive for that every day, to do something positive. And if I'm not feeling that, like I'll go try and read something, or I'll call phone a friend, try to raise that up if I can't do it with color or clothing.
That's awesome.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We need to work this out.
We really do. Cues or signs or something. My question was just during the pandemic, is that where you were going to? Don't okay. So during the pandemic, the world seemed like it was on fire. How did you maintain your inner peace when everything was crashing in and around? Like you get online and it was just doom and gloom. And so how did you bring yourself back to that peace and then maintain that?
I had a mentor tell me once to guard your gates. Guard what your eyes take in, what your ears hear, and the words you speak. And so I really held true to that last year. I really guarded my gates. I really guarded what I watched on, television or what news I watched. I stayed informed, but I didn't let it overwhelm me. And if I felt myself becoming negative, I just shut it off. Right? I shut it off. And the C-Suite Network was phenomenal last year for us, right? They had all these different events that we could attend, that we could learn from other business leaders, what they were doing. And I think that really helped me. So I watched what I took in with my eyes, what I took in with my ears. I also, there were things that you could control, a lot of things we couldn't control last year. And that was just crazy. But if you can't control it, there's nothing you can do about it. Try and let that go. But what could you control? I can control my mood. I can control my mindset. I could, I chose to dress up every day last year, right? I put my makeup on, I did my hair, put jewelry on, even though I'm working from home. I maybe threw on high heels, whatever it was. I chose to dress up because that was something I could control. It makes me feel good. Obviously that's what I do anyway, is help people with clothing. So it makes me feel good, and it really affects your mood, and it affects your mindset. And ultimately I say it affects your money as well. But again, guarding my gates last year, and then doing things that I could control, which was one of the things was, getting dressed to lift my mood. So
that's one thing. There was, I don't even remember which C-suite event it was. And I remember you talking about that. And I was one of those where I was hoodie, PJ pants every day. But we had a bunch of kids here, big buildings. We were always playing. But I'm like, you know what? I need to kind of shift. So I started making an attempt every day. Hair, makeup. There was a couple days where I put on heels and I'm like clunking around downstairs in the ballroom. My husband walks in and he goes, "Dang, you look nice." And I'm like, should I be insulted? He's like, "No, seriously, you look nice." And that like lifted me up. And I'm like, oh, she's onto something here. This feels nice. So now every day I make a big point to start the day off looking good. I'm not saying by 3:00 I'm not in my pajamas, but I kicked off the day. And usually by that time, I'm like, I'm done. I need a break. So I'm going to go sit down.
My husband's reaction was, "Who's coming over?"
Well, and another thing I got from a lot of people was, well, but nobody sees me at home if they're home alone. And my response back to that is, but you see you.
Yes.
And that affects your mood and your self-image and your self-worth and all that. So I dressed up every day. There were times where I maybe had joggers on and a t-shirt, but I still had my makeup, my hair, had fun, cute shoes. I don't expect you to be running around in a nice skirt and nylons and a blazer all the time when you're at home, but at least make an effort. But when you have some self-respect, trust, put yourself together.
Yes. I wore my wedding dress a couple times because
you did. Phenomenal. You can get in, but I'm not sure I can get in.
I know.
It took a couple people and a whole lot of, I hate tacos at this moment, and I'm like, oh, it's odd. And they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine." "Do you want to take it off?" "No, I'm in it." So now I'm going to stay in it till I turn purple. We'll be fine. But it felt so good to just put that back on because it's so sparkly. And it was like the one day where I was a true princess, and I felt amazing that day. It was the first time I'd ever really dressed up that much since high school when I was in pageants. And this time it was for me. And I've gone to Walgreens in it. I wore it on Main Street here walking around. I've cleaned the apartment in it. When the
I
kids
think-
are like,
Evaluation is still on hold.
I think that, but the lesson there, you just said the lesson, right? That it made you feel good.
it did. It
So
really
pay
did.
attention to how clothes make you feel.
Yeah, great. Now I'm gonna start wearing that on calls.
You know what? I had
No.
I had
Oh, wait a
one.
minute.
Yeah, there's a couple people I know that did, like, I don't remember what they called it, but they wore a gown, whatever gown they had in their closet, like one day a week or a couple days out of the month during the pandemic. And they just had fun with it, right? Like, I'm sitting at my desk and I am in a ball gown and I am just kind of knocking it out of the park that day. So
It does. It's so much. Well, it's kind of like the crowns.
I know I want
Yeah.
one.
I love it.
Both marriages.
is-
Or
yeah,
not-
this
I
is
mean,
marriage.
your marriage, not mine, but never mind.
John's like, I quit.
Yeah, I quit. I've had veils, I had tiaras, I had crowns.
You had to find your fit, man.
But anyway, we want to thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Just great conversations on inner peace. I think that's so important.
It really
Well,
is.
thank you. We'll stay right there and we'll be right back.
Finally, a better way to hold your phone. Introducing Steady Straps. Made here in the USA, Steady Straps are high-quality, flexible straps that adjust to hold virtually any phone comfortably and securely. Steady Straps are washable and come in a wide range of colors and styles. See them all at SteadyStraps.com. Because they're so visible, they're the perfect promotional item to advertise your company message or logo. Learn more at SteadyStraps.com. That's SteadyStraps.com.
Hey guys, we're back. That was awesome. I love Sheila's energy so
Yes.
much. She's so sparkly and bubbly when she comes through on the screen, and she just has a true passion for life. I love how she shares that.
She
And
does.
folks, seriously, if you can find her on Facebook, follow her, because between her amazing outfits every day and the colors she adds and the uplifting, her husband's cufflinks are phenomenal. I really like those too, and they're just, it's beautiful.
She is just wonderful. She's positive, and we had a one-on-one during a C-suite event to where nobody else got into the breakout room, and it was just me, and she was giving me all this advice, and I just knew that she was someone that I wanted to get on our show.
Yeah.
She has a handle on it, and like we've said, what her way may not work for other people, but there might be something that you pick out of that's going to help you.
Yeah. I
No.
think my most favorite thing out of doing all of this is that no matter what people's versions of inner peace is, you can feel it and you get to share it with people.
Right.
And it's so incredible to just be able to hold space for people or with people and just chill and have a great conversation. I love it.
I love conversations. Well, guys, we want to thank you for joining us. We enjoyed today. I hope you did as well. And I just want to say, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.